What's up, everybody? Welcome to Storm Sessions, brought to you by OmegaXL Sport. My name is Danny Enriquez, and I'm here with the latest member of Tight End U, latest person to make that trek from New Jersey to the University of Miami, a long story tradition. It is Alex Bauman. How we doing?
Great. Thanks for having me.
So a lot of New Jersey players have made their way to Miami. I think the 2001 championship team, which they say is the best team of all time, had, I want to say, 5 New Jersey kids starting.
Yeah.
But I've learned that Jersey's not all the same. You got North Jersey, you got South Jersey, Central Jersey, which is where I'm told you're from.
Yeah.
Some people say it doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
It's not even a real thing. So break it down for me.
Yeah, that's a big controversy in New Jersey. I mean, you talk to people like me from the Jersey Shore, Central Jersey. I call it Central Jersey. You got people in the South Jersey, a little bit different people from Central Jersey, and then people in North Jersey, a little bit more city-like and different from people. So there's different sections in Jersey, I believe, at least.
Well, I know Mo Torre was saying he's South Jersey. You know, he said they're like the country of New Jersey, which I didn't know New Jersey had a country.
I think that's a good way of explaining it.
We've had Greg Olson, David Njoku, some tight ends that kind of you're following their footsteps right, as far as New Jersey, Miami tight ends, hopefully onto the long and prosperous NFL careers.
No.
They're North Jersey. So Central Jersey, what's the Central Jersey kind of signature?
Ooh, Central Jersey signature, like area-wise? Or
just
kinda...
like in terms of like how they act, like what's different? What you say is different, so what's different besides the map?
I mean, we're known for like the Jersey Shore too, right? Like I live about 15 minutes from the beach, and then I'm 40 minutes from the city. So you kind of get the best of both worlds, right? Like being that close to New York City, but also right near the beach. Like it's a short commute to either way. You could really do anything from that area, and I mean, it's just a great area to live.
Yeah, well, that's it's known down here for the. Everybody says Jersey Shore, they think of gym tan laundry.
Yeah, that's not
that
not
true?
what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. But I know that's very famous, the Jersey Shore show. I've seen it a little bit, but that's not my thing.
Well, I know the gym is your thing, the beach is your thing. I heard you surf a little bit too.
So a little bit. Grew up surfing with my brother. Went to surf camp when we were younger. Had a couple boards. Haven't surfed in a while because football's taken up. Don't want to risk anything in the summer. You know, as tempting as it is to get out there on the board, you know, I could surf later in my life. So,
have you been out to this beach, Miami Beach?
I haven't. Yeah, I've actually been to Muscle Beach with a couple of the boys on the team. Been to Crandon Park and Key Biscayne. All nice, really nice beaches.
Were you guys out there like flexing, showing off? I know you're working hard out there. Was that the whole deal?
Yeah, we got a little pump and then headed to the beach. A little muscle head action, but.
So growing up, you know, family athletes. You know, your brother. I heard he's really the physical, serious one, and you were kind of the finesse athlete. Is that accurate, or are you taking an exception to that one?
No, that's an accurate description. He was always thicker and bigger than me growing up. So when we would fight, you know, we'd go at it. But he was always stronger and bigger, weighed more, and stuff like that. I had to figure out ways to, win fights. So
was that like low man wins? Like, what was the strategy out there?
Just try and get as many shots in as you can, Might have to throw a cheap shot in. No, I'm kidding. But, yeah, we would go at it, and he was always bigger. So, it builds character, though. Like, we wouldn't want it any other way.
Your sister an athlete as well. I know your dad athlete. Like, were you playing basketball in the backyard? Like, what kind of sports were you guys getting into?
Yeah, everything. Basketball in the driveway. It got rough there playing 21 and stuff like that. And I remember ever since we were like 4 or 5 years old, my dad would he would make us run like one-on-ones, me and my brother, and he would get tired. His arm would get tired. He's got a bit of a shoulder problem, and he would be like, "All right, guys, let's cut it out for today." And me and my brother would be like, "No, we can't. Like, I just won one. He just won one. We got to keep playing. Like, we can't cut this out now."
I'm in the same role with my 2 boys, and I start throwing incompletions on purpose at the end just to get out of it. Did you ever pull that move or no?
Yeah, I mean, not that I remember, but I'm sure he would say something like, "Oh, dinner's ready," or some way to get out of it.
So you played soccer, right? You played some flag football. I heard your flag football team was pretty nasty.
Yeah, we won a couple Super Bowls in flag football. My dad is the coach, actually, so nice. Pretty proud of that.
Just growing up in general in that kind of environment with tight-knit family, Central Jersey. Just what do you remember from that time?
Yeah, I mean, just family. That was the biggest part. My mom's side of the family grew up in Bayonne, New Jersey, Jersey City area, Bayonne, really. We'd always go up there for Thanksgiving, and then my dad's family moved around. They grew up same area, Jersey City, Bayonne, stuff like that, but moved. So we visited my grandma. She moved down to Brick Township, and then you know, just having your family all close together like that, it's easy to have, you know, family holidays, and that was a tradition growing up. We're Italian, so we would do the 7 fishes on Christmas Eve and stuff like that. So we dug into the tradition, and I mean, that was the best part about having your family so close together.
What was your go-to Italian meal?
That's hard. I love my grandma's eggplant parm. It's hard to beat.
There you go.
Hard to beat.
There you go. So when you switch from flag to tackle, New Jersey, for those who don't know, I mean, great football. Like that's
Underrated football.
Real underrated. Like I said, I know it because Miami, we just have had so many good players from there, but people don't realize, I don't think, how good football is all the way up and down Jersey. When did you switch to tackle, and what was that like?
So I switched to tackle my 7th grade year, and basically got it from my brother. He was my inspiration to play football. He started in 7th grade as well for the River Plaza Lincroft Chargers. Saw how well he did and how much he loved it, and I was like, I'll give it a try too. I mean, why not, right? And I mean, I fell in love with it from the first day, right? Just everything that goes along with it, discipline, building character, you know, hard work, dedication, stuff like that. And that was just something I felt, you know, in tune with, and something that I could, you know, hopefully, you know, keep playing through high school and then eventually college and so on.
Did you like offense better than defense? I know you played both.
In the beginning, I like defense a little bit more. I mean, scoring touchdowns, there's no better feeling than scoring touchdowns. Defense, on the other hand, is like you can make a lot of plays through effort, right? And I think that's something that I carried throughout my just whole sports career was, you know, giving effort in every play and everything that I do. And so defense was a lot of fun.
And in terms of New Jersey football, for those who don't know about it, like besides the fact that you produce a lot of good players and a lot of powerhouse teams, like the style of football that you guys play up there, because you've now played all across the country. You've been at Tulane, you've been at Miami, you've been around players from different parts of the country. But what's about New Jersey football that you think makes it pretty unique?
We're just tough. I mean, New Jersey football, we always got a chip on our shoulder. I think that's the best way to describe really anybody from New Jersey is they always carry a chip on their shoulder. You know, we kind of get put in the shadow of, you know, New York, and we're made fun of a little bit as a state, but I mean, if you talk to anybody from New Jersey, they got a way about them that, you know, got a little toughness to them, got a little chip on the shoulder, something like that.
So basketball, I know when you committed, me and my co-host, we pulled up your basketball highlights, and I was expecting to see a bruiser, you know, somebody just pushing guys around. You're leading the break, you're ball handling, you're finishing with both hands. I mean, you had a lot of finesse to your game. Tell me about basketball. I
think that goes back to, you know, talking about my brother and stuff like that. He was always the bruiser. I'm sure if you pulled up his basketball highlights, he would be, you know, elbowing kids around, stuff like that, which he did a lot, actually. But besides the point. Yeah, I mean, I just always liked watching fancy things. Kyrie Irving growing up, he's a Jersey guy too. You know, his handles, obviously I didn't have handles like that, but just watching him play around the rim and stuff like that, I knew that, you know, basketball was a taller person's sport, right? So if you're going to be 6'3", 6'4", something like that, you're going to have to be able to, you know, move around, handle the rock, be able to dish it, and I think that's kind of where I got that from.
Your recruiting process now, some people are late bloomers. I got to say that. When I went back and watched your stuff, both sides of the ball in basketball, I mean, you were good back then too. It's not like you really bloomed that late. You've improved, but knowing what we know now, you probably should have gotten a lot more attention in high school. But when that attention wasn't as strong as you thought it might be, and maybe offers were just kind of not either there or going away or just not materializing like you want, what was that like for you when you knew what you had to offer?
It was tough at first, you know, going through that whole COVID cycle, transfer portal, extra years, stuff like that. But, you know, in the end, just trusting God's plan. Grew up in a Catholic household, so I know my faith is very strong to me. So, you know, that trusting that God has a plan for me and God has a plan for everyone, that at this time it might seem wrong or, you know, tough, but he'll eventually, you know, lead you down the right path.
And that path led to Tulane, right there in New Orleans. Great academic institution. Before we get into anything else, I mean, you are known as someone with good academics. You went to Tulane. You're here now. How important is academics to what you do?
Yeah, academics is actually one of the reasons I chose Miami. They have a great history in academics, and it's even getting better. I did some research beforehand, you know, making sure that I was making the right choice. And business school at Miami and business school at Tulane, at the time, I don't know what it is now, but they were very similar in rankings, and that was something that was very important to me because I value that 4-year degree and so on because, you know, football doesn't last forever, right? The NFL stands for not for long, right, is what I was always told. So, and have a 4-year plan for 40 years, right? So that was always ingrained in my head. And so I always hold academics to a high standard.
So if people think Tulane, they'll say, okay, so, you know, G5 school. They don't realize, at least in your perspective, your first year, you were in a major bowl game against USC.
Yeah.
Quarterback Michael Pratt, someone I watched down here from high school. He's a South Florida guy. And not only were you playing in this big league major bowl game, it was the Cotton Bowl, right?
Cotton Bowl,
against USC, you caught the game-winning touchdown.
I did, yeah.
So let's take it through because there's different parts to this play. But like when the play is called, did you have a feeling it might be going to you?
In the beginning, at the start of the play, always got to be ready for the ball, right? You don't know who it's going to go to. I saw the Mike's leverage. He was kind of, you know, head up to inside a little bit, so I knew I had to beat him across his face. So I knew if I could do that. Pratt, we had a great connection that year, and it built. That's my guy, my brother. I knew that he would just trust me, you know, trust anybody on that field, whoever it was, Jaquan, Deuce, Shea, anybody who was on the field at the time, to just make a play. He saw the defense, saw what he liked, and I just happened to get the ball and make a play.
So you caught the touchdown. Obviously, you celebrated because you knew you had caught it, but there was a review, right?
Yeah.
What was that like? Just kind of this is because of the game-winning catch. I mean, this is not just a touchdown in a huge game. So were you just kind of just sitting there like, what was that period like? Did you know you caught it and you were just like, all right?
I knew I caught it because, you know, you have a feeling as a receiver, like you can tell when the ground helps you catch the ball, right? And in that moment, I was like, well, I didn't feel that. Like I knew I had a grasp on it, even though the USC defender had his hand under. So I knew I caught it. I went right to my coach. He was like, did you catch it? Did you catch it? I was like, yeah, I caught it. I definitely caught that. So it just added to the dramatic effect of, you know, the whole game, the comeback, everything like that. Pausing the whole game to watch everybody looking at the big screen at AT&T Stadium. I mean, it was just a surreal moment. And then, whatever, 60,000 Tulane fans just going absolutely wild, something they, you know, probably haven't experienced in a while. So it was just a surreal experience.
So you're making that play, catching a lot of touchdowns after that for Tulane, one of the, if not the leading tight end touchdown catcher, I believe, in the nation, I believe, right now in college, based on what you did during those years. And, again, you were on a ranked team. G5, but you're not out there, you know, as team's homecoming game. You were winning a lot of ball games and you were beating good teams. So you're playing at a high level and you're playing at a high level program. So coaching turnover, right? Right. So your coach leaves, and as I understand, you jumped in the portal and then came back out. So what was that process like?
Yeah, went in the portal after the bowl game. You know, I didn't know, it was a lot of uncertainty, right? New coach coming in, whole new staff, not the same coaches that recruited me to Tulane. I didn't know how it was going to play out, right? So I kind of did that to protect myself in a way. And then once I got to know Coach Summerall through the bowl prep, through, you know, the days after the game, my one tight end coach that was still staying, Coach Spots Ogeron, who's actually two brothers are here coaching, Cody and Parker. He helped me, you know, he kind of instilled in me, like, look, give this guy a chance. I gave Coach Summerall a chance, and I loved him. I mean, he's a great coach, great guy. Have nothing but, you know, high praise for him. Great players coach, you know. And I just, you know, went through the spring and just trusted him, really.
Yes, I got ahead of myself. So, yeah, it was right after that first season. Then afterwards, you know, you had the big touchdown seasons. You're having a lot of production. So, I mean, again, checking a lot of boxes, getting that great education.
Yeah.
Then ultimately jump in the portal again. And before we get into the process of the portal, what went into that decision, knowing you had a great experience at Tulane and, again, won a lot of ball games, scored a lot of touchdowns? What led to you jumping in the portal?
The second time?
The second time.
Yes. So this time around, I just, you know, there was something that was bothering me the whole season. Not the whole season, but towards the end of the season that, you know, I felt like I was playing well. I had gotten surgery the spring before, felt better in my body, felt like I was improving a lot. And I've always, coming out of high school, I always wanted to play, you know, Power 4 football. The stage, the stadiums, everything that comes with that. My brother played at Notre Dame, obviously, so I always, you know, he was always an inspiration to me. And I always wanted to, you know, get on that big stage and see how I line up against other people, right? even though we played a bunch of great opponents, a lot of great teams, I needed to do it for me, right? I always wanted to, climb the next mountain is kind of how I looked at it. So yeah, that was my process going into this the second time I entered the portal.
So you jump in a lot different than when you came out of high school. Now
Yeah.
everybody knows what you can do. You're getting a heavy recruitment from across the country. University of Miami, a school that's really known for tight ends. They had just put Elijah Arroyo in the second round of the draft, and history going way before that. What was it like when Miami started knocking on your door?
Yeah, I mean, it was surreal. Like you said, TEU, right? Going back to the rich history, especially from, tight ends from New Jersey, Greg Olson, David Njoku, even, some of my favorite players growing up, Jeremy Shockey, who played for the Giants and Saints. Yeah, I mean, just their rich history of tight ends, it was kind of a no-brainer to me. I have a chance to play at tight end U, and after what they just did with Elijah Arroyo, second-round draft pick, I thought it was an absolute no-brainer, as well as the academic side, right? Able to continue my 4-year degree, get in finance. I mean, it just, everything kind of lined up so, perfectly in a way, something that I always had, a checklist in my head, right? All right, it's got to kind of be this, to make sure that I was making the right decision for my future, right? And Miami hit all those boxes and more.
A lot of students, not just student athletes, a lot of students come to University of Miami from New Jersey. You had the detour, you'd been in the South already, but showing up on campus, the whole vibe, what was that like for you, separate from the football aspect?
Yeah, it was very similar to, honestly, it was very similar student population to Tulane in a way. I had a bunch of friends here. One of my friends who was on the baseball team, Alex. A couple kids I went to high school with.
The Alex Giroux?
No, Alex Staniak. He was on the baseball team last year. Yeah. So he transferred here. He was a transfer here too. So I got to talk to him about it and how that went, which was good. A couple kids from my high school and just people around that I knew. And so Miami's got a good New Jersey pipeline. I mean, we've been talking about that. So it was an easy acclimation to the student population.
This fall, the Canes are taking over paradise again. Canes Weekend of the Bahamas returns October 31st to November 2nd, right here in the heart of Nassau. Choose your vibe, the bold, laid-back energy of the Point Margaritaville Beach Resort, or the timeless charm of British colonial Nassau. 2 beachfront escapes, 1 legendary weekend. Enjoy special rates starting at just $159 per night. Plus, big-time fan energy, exclusive events, Hurricanes legends, and an unforgettable island-style watch party. Lock it in now at Bahamas.com/Canes Weekend. Terms and conditions apply. So your brother is at Notre Dame, and the hope was obviously both you guys would play in that game. He had to medically retire before that game. I remember when I talked to James Brockermeyer, one of your teammates, one of your teammates on offense. He had a situation that was similar where his brother, in his case I think it was his twin, had to medically retire, and that really had a big impact on him and his mentality, right, as he carried on. So for you, I know you're locked in on what you're doing. I mean, you're trying to get ready to play Notre Dame, and then also everything else that you have to do to get ready to play at this kind of level. But when you saw your brother medically retire, on top of just feeling for him and his next steps, did that have an impact on your perspective at all?
Yeah, it just showed that, look, football doesn't last forever, right? I mean, he put his heart, soul, blood, sweat, and tears into the game, and doesn't always work out, right? So that just gave me a whole new perspective of, take it day by day and enjoy every single day you're able to play the game of football, right? Because it doesn't last forever. And it just added a little bit of extra motivation to me because, I want to go out there and make my family proud. And now that my brother, unfortunately, was done with football, I feel like I had to, kind of pick up the extra steam in the family and, make him proud too, because I know how badly he wants to be out there and try and play for him as well. You know what I mean?
And what does your family mean to you? Just your parents, your sister, your brother, and the impact they've had on your life?
Yeah, I mean, they're my whole world, really. Growing up, always my biggest supporters, even though, Mom didn't want us to play football. Dad had to step in and kind of push us, say, okay, they're going to play football, right? They're bigger body kids. But, no matter what decision I make, they always have my back. And they're always supportive, always run me through decisions and weigh in, but also know that it's my decision and my life, and they'll support it no matter what.
So first game against Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you played in big games. You're not a rookie to the game necessarily, but it was a national TV game. You had half the Hall of Fame on the sidelines.
Yeah.
It feels like there was a lot of people in the stands, like billionaires, politicians, you name it. It was a crazy kind of vibe. What was it like for you? I know you're getting ready to play the games. You played a lot, and you were obviously you had to focus on that part of it. But just did you take a moment to say like, wow, man, this is kind of crazy?
Yeah, it honestly didn't really hit me because I stay off social media game week. Like, I try my hardest to not look at any, media things or anything like that. It really hit me when we were running out of that tunnel, and you just see all Miami, all the Miami fans packed in. It's loud. Seeing my brother pregame before, it's like, wow, this is real. This is real. I mean, yeah, it's just absolutely surreal moment. It brought me back to that Cotton Bowl game, because that was probably the closest, biggest game like that with, what was it, 75,000 or 70,000 crowd. Yep. Yeah.
So once you, let me just take a step back. It's been a good ride, but there's been setbacks. I'm sure there's times where you're not feeling good. You don't want to work out. You're up early. Your body might not be cooperating. And you have to push through to do what you need to do for that day. What is it that motivates you to push through in those days where you don't want to work out? It's just not. It's not the glory day, right? It's not Notre Dame game.
Yeah.
It's the random Tuesday where your body's hurting. What allows you to push through?
I think two things for me. First, my faith, right? God has given me the ability to play football, and I want to go out there and, do it to the best of my ability, because if I wasn't, then, I'd be kind of giving a gift away that he could have gave to someone else, right? So that's first and foremost. And then my family too. I mean, just wanting to make them proud of something that I do, putting my head down. And like you said, there's days where you just don't want to do it, right? There's days in everyone's life where it's hard to get up, hard to do things. And I think that's what finding your why is what makes you keep going forward. And that's pretty much it. Just my faith in my family.
So let's fast forward. Had a great season here at University of Miami. Go on to the NFL. Long NFL career. Carry on that tradition. Now football's done from a playing standpoint. Where's Alex Bauman?
Ooh. I try not to get too ahead of myself, but I would like to work on Wall Street for a couple of years, hopefully get into a private equity firm, and then eventually start my own business or private equity firm, investment banking type of thing. Maybe come up with a startup with my brother, create a business, and even if it's a restaurant, my uncle's in a lot of restaurants right now, so maybe even, start the next great restaurant. But a lot of different business ideas that kind of jot down here and there to just think about the future.
Canes Connection's going to come calling for some donations here in a little bit. You find the next Alex
Hopefully.
Bauman. So, question here. We asked the fans for some questions. This is from Watson J.
Okay.
What do you do to get ready for a game? So let's just say game day kind of process, separate from the team stuff that you're doing with the team. Like, what's your personal process?
It depends. So I hate waiting around, right? Like, those night games, as much as I love them, the environment, there's nothing like it. I hate waiting around all day. I like to get up. I like to do stuff. I like to play, right? I love playing football. And waiting around it doesn't do anybody good, right? But, so for a long game like that, just trying to relax my mind. I'll watch movies throughout the day, take a nap, and then just get my mind ready and flip that switch once we hit that pregame meal, get the hype video, and then it's time to go.
What movies you like? Action movies, comedies?
Yeah, action and comedies. Before a game, I'll watch more of war movies or something like that. Like before the last game against Florida State, I was watching, I don't want to mess it up, 12 Strong.
Okay.
War movie. So that kind of got me going. That puts me in the right mindset. So I try and watch something like that to prepare myself like I'm going into war, which somewhat is.
Music-wise, all the Florida guys say Rod Wave. That's
Yeah.
like 100%. I'm sure you probably hear that in the locker room all the time.
Yeah,
Either Rod Wave or NBA YoungBoy. Like all the Florida kids, that's kind of where the roster. Music-wise, what are you playing?
I got a bunch of different stuff that I listen to. That's the thing. I feel like I got a wide range. I got to listen to Rod Wave. I listen to Drake, J. Cole, NBA YoungBoy. But I also listen to Zach Bryan, Tyler Childers, which I kind of got from being in New Orleans and Tulane. And then also growing up, I listened to a lot of classic rock from my dad. So I feel like I have a wide range of music that I listen to.
What's on the headphones when you're catching passes and warming up?
At that time, it's probably Drake.
Okay.
Yeah, Drake is what I like to listen to when I warm up.
There you go. A question from Ty, which is, how does it feel to be, Miami Hurricane football player? You've been a good football player for a long time. You've been a big-time football player. You've been a college player for a while. And now putting on this Miami uniform, how does that feel?
It's unbelievable. It's, like I said, surreal moment. Something that, I'm here. I'm a Miami Hurricane, and I'm glad to be here. I'm glad everybody's welcomed me here. There's nothing really like it. Not many people in the world can say that they played football for the University of Miami. Yeah, it's just an unbelievable experience.
And last one, favorite uniform combo?
Ooh, I love the all whites. Love the all whites. I feel like I haven't seen all of the uniform combos yet. But right now, I think my favorite is all whites.
You got that one dirty against FSU because you were blocking like crazy. Carson's jersey looked clean as could be.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Again, Alex, appreciate you. Remember to like and subscribe to Storm Sessions, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and make sure you support players like this, Alex Bauman. Thank you, man, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.